My aunt left me her $410,000 house and savings. My uncle slid a paper across the table and said, "This keeps the family together." My mother cried, "Don't be selfish." Then I saw the fine print and refused to. I never thought I would fight over an inheritance. I thought they happened in families where people showed up to funerals with tissues in one hand and calculators in the other. Then my Aunt Kathleen died in Cincinnati, and somehow I became the villain. Kathleen was not rich in an obvious way. And when she loved someone, she showed up. That was what she did for me. My mother, Sharon, loved me in her own way, but her life was always chaos. When Kathleen got sick, it started slowly. She missed appointments. A few months before she died, Kathleen asked me to sit with her at the kitchen table. She had a folder in front of her. She said, "I changed my will." I immediately told her I did not want to talk about money. I hated the idea of discussing what would happen after she was gone. It felt wrong. It felt like accepting it. She reached across the table and grabbed my wrist. She said, "That is exactly why I want you to know." She told me she was leaving me the house and most of her savings. My mother, Kenneth, and Nicole would receive money too, but the house would go to me. I tried to argue. I told her it would cause problems. I said people would be angry. Kathleen looked exhausted, but her voice was clear. She said, "I am not dividing my life by who will throw the loudest tantrum." I still hear that sentence. After she died, the first few weeks felt unreal. There were calls, forms, flowers, casseroles, and relatives saying things like, "She's in a better place." Kenneth was the executor of the will. At the time, I understood why Kathleen chose him. He liked rules. At first, he played the role perfectly. He said probate would take time. Paperwork would take time. Banks would take time. Nobody should panic. I believed him because I was grieving and exhausted. Then the comments started. Kenneth said it was unusual that Kathleen left me so much. He said my mother had struggled her whole life and maybe Kathleen did not understand what she was doing. He said Nicole was hurt. He said it was strange for a niece to receive the house when Kathleen still had living family. At first, I ignored it. I told myself grief makes people ugly for a while. People say things they do not mean when someone dies. Then Kenneth invited me to Kathleen's house. My mother was already there when I arrived. Nicole sat at the kitchen table with her arms crossed, looking like she had come prepared to hate me. Kenneth had a folder in front of him. The kitchen still smelled faintly like lemon cleaner and old wood. Kathleen's rooster decorations were lined up over the sink. I stared at them because I did not want to look at my family. Kenneth opened the folder and slid a document across the table. He said, "This keeps the family together." I asked what it was. He said it was just a simple family agreement. Nothing dramatic. Just a way to make things fair. Fair meant I would keep the house, but the $186,000 Kathleen left me in savings and investments would be split 4 ways between me, my mother, Kenneth, and Nicole. Each of us would receive $46,500 from that money. I stared at the page and did the math in my head. If I signed it, I would lose $139,500. I said, "That is not what the will says." Kenneth leaned back like he had expected that. He said, "Sometimes legal and moral are not the same thing." My mother started crying. She said, "I am your mother. I raised you. Please do not do this to us." Nicole said Kathleen would be ashamed of me. She said nobody needed that much money. She said I was acting like I had earned it just because I drove Kathleen to appointments. That hurt more than I wanted it to, because I never thought I earned it. I would have traded every dollar to have Kathleen back in that chair, rolling her eyes at all of us. I told Kenneth I was not signing anything until I read the will myself and had someone explain the document to me. His face changed. Just a little. Enough. He said, "If you make this difficult, do not expect the money anytime soon." The room went silent. That was the moment grief stopped being an excuse. That was pressure. That was a threat. I asked him to put that in writing. He laughed and said, "You are being dramatic." After that, everything became slippery. Kenneth stopped answering direct questions by text. He would call instead, then deny what he said later. He kept saying the estate could not move forward until everyone was on the same page. My mother called me crying almost every night, saying I was tearing the family apart. Nobody asked if I was okay living in a house that still smelled like Kathleen. They only asked what I was willing to give up. The worst part was that I started doubting myself. I would sit alone in Kathleen's kitchen, surrounded by her things, wondering if maybe they were right. Maybe keeping the house and the money was too much. Then I found the letter. It was in Kathleen's desk, tucked behind old tax folders and a stack of blank greeting cards. The envelope had my name on it. Her handwriting was shaky, but I knew it instantly. I sat on the floor before I opened it because my legs felt weak. The letter was short. Kathleen never wasted words. She wrote that she knew people would be angry. She wrote that she had watched me become the person everyone called when something went wrong, but rarely the person anyone protected. She wrote that the house and money were not a prize and not payment. They were protection. She wanted me to have stability. Then she wrote, "Do not let them guilt you into undoing my last decision." I cried so hard I could barely breathe. Not because of the money. Because she knew. She knew exactly what would happen, and she tried to protect me one more time. The next morning, I called a probate attorney named Rachel. The consultation cost $350, and I almost canceled because spending money while everything was unsettled made me feel sick. But I went. I brought everything I had. The will. The agreement Kenneth wanted me to sign. Nicole's messages. Notes from phone calls. A timeline of delays. Rachel read the family agreement, set it down, and said, "Do not sign this." I started crying in her office. It was embarrassing, but I could not stop. It was the first time someone said it plainly without making me feel like I was destroying my family. Rachel explained that Kenneth could not rewrite the will because he thought it should be different. As executor, he had duties. He had to follow Kathleen's instructions. He had to account for the estate properly. Rachel sent him a formal letter. That was when the mask came off. Kenneth called me 11 times in one day. I did not answer. My mother left voicemails saying lawyers were for enemies, not family. Nicole posted something vague online about how death shows who people really are. I wanted to comment, yes, it does. But I did not. That became my quiet revenge. Silence. Documentation. Letting them put their ugliness in writing while I stopped giving them reactions they could twist. Once Rachel got involved, Kenneth became less confident. He still dragged his feet, but now he had to respond properly. My mother took that personally. She said I had humiliated Kenneth. She said I had made Nicole feel like a thief. She said I was acting better than everyone because Kathleen gave me the biggest share. I told her, "Mom, they tried to make me sign away $139,500. She said, "You would still have the house." That sentence told me everything. To them, the house was already too much for me. The money felt like extra. Eventually, after Rachel pushed harder, Kenneth stepped down as executor. A neutral estate administrator named Walter took over and finished the process. It cost the estate money, and everyone blamed me for that too. Kenneth told relatives I had forced a stranger into family business. Nicole said I wasted money because I could not be decent. But things finally moved. The house was valued at about $410,000, with around $92,000 left on the mortgage. The savings and investments Kathleen left me came to about $186,000 after expected estate costs. My mother received $25,000. Kenneth received $15,000. Nicole received $10,000. Everything matched Kathleen's will. And then, when I thought the worst was over, my mother came to the house. She did not call first. She just showed up on a gray afternoon, standing on the porch in a coat too thin for the weather, looking smaller than I remembered. I let her in because she was my mother, and some part of me still hoped she had come to comfort me. She sat at Kathleen's kitchen table, the same table where Kenneth had tried to make me sign the agreement. I made tea because I did not know what else to do. Then she asked for $50,000. Not a loan. A gift. She said she had debts. She said she had helped me when I was young. She said Kathleen had only been able to help me because she did not have children of her own. She said I had more than enough now and family should not have to beg. I said, "You already got what Kathleen left you." Her face hardened. She said, "So that is it? You get a house and all that money and your own mother gets scraps." I reminded her that $25,000 was not scraps. She said, "Compared to what you got, it is." I hated how much that hurt. Because she was not wrong about the numbers. I did get more. A lot more. And there I was, sitting in a house I had not bought, with money I had not earned in the normal way, while my mother cried about debt. For a few minutes, I almost gave in. After she left, I opened my laptop. I logged into the bank and clicked through until I reached the transfer page. I typed in $50,000. My hands shook so badly I had to stop twice. I imagined sending it and buying peace. I imagined my mother softening. Then I looked around Kathleen's kitchen. The rooster decorations were still there. The chipped blue mug was beside the sink. The envelope with her letter was on the counter, because I had read it again that morning. "Do not let them guilt you into undoing my last decision." I closed the laptop. I did not send the money. The next day, I texted my mother and told her I loved her, but I would not give her anything beyond what Kathleen left her. I said I hoped she used her $25,000 carefully, and I was not discussing the inheritance again. She replied with 3 words. "Enjoy your money." That was the last real message she sent me. I moved into Kathleen's house 2 months later. Not because it was easy, but because it felt like the only place where I could breathe. I refinanced the mortgage into my name. For the first time in my adult life, I had a safety net. Not a luxury life. Just safety. A quiet house. Bills I could plan for. A bed in a room where nobody could throw me out. My family barely speaks to me now. Nicole blocked me. Kenneth tells relatives I lawyered up against a grieving family. My mother sends short, cold texts on holidays, like she is doing me a favor by remembering I exist. Maybe some people will think I should have shared more. Maybe they will say money is not worth losing family over. I understand why it looks that way. But I did not lose my family because of money. I lost them because I said no. I said no to signing away $139,500. I said no to letting Kenneth use his role as executor to pressure me. Maybe that makes me cold. But I did not scream. I did not expose every message. I did not start a public fight. I let the legal process do what my family refused to do. I let Kathleen's wishes stand. Some nights, I still feel guilty. I still miss my mother, even though she hurt me. I still wonder if Kathleen would be sad seeing what happened after she died. Then I sit on the back porch with tea in her chipped blue mug, and the house is quiet around me. The same house where she fed me, protected me, and taught me that love should not feel like begging. The same house my family wanted me to treat like a bargaining chip. And for the first time in years, I feel safe. Not rich. Not proud. Not victorious in some loud, cruel way. Just safe. Maybe that was what Kathleen really left me. Not just a house. Not just $186,000. She left me proof that someone saw me clearly enough to protect me after she was gone. So am I wrong for refusing to split the inheritance more fairly, even though it cost me almost my entire relationship with my family?